to the Lady J podcast. I'm your host, Lady J on stage, and Janelle Thomas in real life. I'm a full-time musician, and here on the Lady J podcast, we are talking about what it takes to be a success in the live music industry. For the last 2 decades, I have been making music and leading a band alongside my husband, Felix, who is my guitarist and musical director. Together, we've played nearly 3,000 shows worldwide. And for the last 11, we've been based in Dubai. We play in clubs, bars, restaurants, we do weddings, we do private events, and we know that we are very lucky to make a full-time living as full-time musicians. For this first season of the Lady J podcast, I called on my friends who do similar work or other colleagues or industry professionals to find out exactly what goes into running a business as a musician who gigs full-time. I want to know, in addition to making great music, which is obvious, what else do you need to have to get up on stage in front of people, be in the room with them, making the music they love? How do you do that successfully? I was really lucky to have so many intelligent people who came through on the first season to share their opinions, their thoughts, their time with us. We had some great conversations, which doesn't surprise me because, to be honest, these are people with whom I've already discussed a lot of these topics over the last few years. But it was great to bring them on camera and have them share their insights with me in this structured form so that I can share it with all of you. Now, because these are friends, I pretty much already knew what to anticipate in the conversations. However, in every episode, there was a moment where these friends of mine said something that surprised me and something that I really took away with me and incorporated into my own work and how I think of being a musician going forward. So for this 10th episode of the Lady J podcast, the conclusion to season 1, I'm going to do a little recap for you of the surprising moment that I had in each of those episodes and what I learned. Now, of course, these are just highlights, just the little bit of a long conversation that surprised me. But if you hear something that intrigues you, that interests you, and you want to know more, please do go listen to the full episodes. These are my dear friends, and they have wonderful insights to share. And of course, don't forget to like and subscribe. Episode 1 of the Lady J podcast featured Mikey Reed. He is a bass player and vocalist here in Dubai and a very, very busy guy. So I wanted to know from him what his tips and tricks are to getting hired so much. And one of the things that he spoke about was preparedness. Check it out.
iPad, make sure it's charged. Have the charger with you. Have a charger in the car. Little, like even the dumbest of things that you wouldn't think about, like make sure you have enough petrol in your car the night before the gig so that when you leave your house at 6 o'clock, you don't have to take 30 minutes to go to the petrol station first. Yeah. Just basically taking accountability for yourself.
Right. I know Mikey really well, so this wasn't entirely unexpected, but it really hit me when I heard that. I am a mom. My day starts early. And I full-time mom all day, and then I go to my gigs. By the time the gig is done, I am done, and I just want to go home. But this idea of Mikey of getting ready the next day really stuck with me. And I know he said that it was the dumbest thing, but I started insisting that we put gas in the car before we parked it at the end of the evening because I knew that I was going to be in a rush the next day too, trying to be better about coming home and taking off my makeup and recharging my batteries, actual literal batteries, and plugging in my iPad and just doing those things before I go to bed. Yeah, he did inspire me with that. So I'm trying to be better the night before to be prepared for the gig tomorrow. I like that. Thanks, Mikey. Episode 2 featured Joe Bashorun, who is one of my dearest friends and one of the guests on this podcast that I've known the longest. So it was maybe a little hard for him to surprise me with one of his opinions. But I was surprised to hear that in his 40 plus years of being a gigging musician, he feels that Dubai is the best place for live music that he's ever seen. check it out.
We love Dubai. It's an amazing place. But more specifically to us and what we do here, I think it has an amazing amount to offer. I mean, in the years I've traveled around the world doing the various things, whether it be pop, jazz, whether it be for famous artists or not famous artists, whether it be for cover bands or not cover bands, this place for me in those 40 plus years is, I think, the best I've ever seen. Yeah. Just think that there's a quality within, you know, whether you're a local born here, whether you've come from Canada, whether you've come from Europe somewhere, you know, or Spain or South America. I think there's a quality that links everybody that gets it, that gets Dubai, because not everybody gets it.
Not everybody gets it. Yeah.
But I think that for those who do, there's something that links them. There's a quality of being. It's not like I've not seen it anywhere else in the world, but I haven't seen it in this concentration, in this abundance, nightly, without fail. Just fantastic people.
So Felix and I have been living in Dubai for 11 years. We have 2 kids, 2 cats. Life is very normal. And I think that when you are living in the day-to-day, the normalcy of it, you forget sometimes to maybe zoom out and look at what might be exceptional about the life that you have. And hearing that from Joe certainly made me step back and take a look at the larger picture of life here in Dubai. And if there's any secret ingredient, I think, to what makes audiences special here is that there's such a large percentage of the population that are expats. We have come to Dubai for an experience, even if that experience is 11 years long. And I think that that makes us want to have more fun and have more adventures. And certainly live music speaks to that. So it was really good to hear from Joe what a lovely appreciative outlook he has on this city. And it did make me reappreciate the things that we have here, and especially what we have as live musicians in our audiences. Episode 3 of the Lady J podcast featured Aston Wylie, who is a singer, songwriter, and solo singer-guitarist here in Dubai. And he talks about one of the advantages to working with karaoke tracks. And for me, that was really unexpected.
Another advantage is you can look at people a lot more, which I'm sure you're familiar with being a front woman.
That's all I do is look at them.
You look at them. So you don't really do that all the time when you're playing an instrument. You're maybe focused, or you don't need to be as engaged. And I found when I was doing tracks, you can engage so much more. You can connect with that person over there. And you realize, they're on the same page as me. They like Frank Sinatra. They like the swing stuff. And then that just makes the whole gig easier and better, right? Because it's not that you're not focused on the whole venue, but sometimes you get those gigs where it's one person who's engaged and it makes it worth it for you in terms of satisfaction.
Yeah.
Not in terms of pay or anything like that, just in terms of I'm doing something that someone likes.
Right.
And that feels good.
Yeah.
So.
I don't work with karaoke tracks. To be honest, I don't have the courage to be on stage all alone. I always have Felix with me. So right out of the gate, I applaud soloists who get up there with their microphone and their instrument and they do an entire show by themselves. I think that's amazing. And then further, to not even have your instrument, but to just be on stage with karaoke tracks feels extremely vulnerable to me. So I was so surprised to hear that Aston actually enjoyed that. And that there were moments of it that he really came to appreciate more because he was freed from having to create loops and do things with his feet and do things with his hands and all that kind of octopus nature of things that comes when you are playing alone. And for me, it's a given that I'm going to look at the audience. And sometimes even I find it kind of overwhelming because I will be checking so many facial expressions and wondering, are they enjoying it? And do they look like they're going to leave? And are they having a birthday over there? I'm not sure. And I've never thought about how much of a gift it can be as well to really be able to be unencumbered by having to play an instrument and just be free to interact visually with people. So hearing Aston say that really made me try to appreciate people's faces more and to look for those smiles and to see, as he mentioned, who's that person in the venue who's been here all night and they're still enjoying themselves, and just make sure that visually I'm giving that feedback to know that I appreciate them and that I'm happy they're there. Episode 4 of the Lady J podcast was with Timo Higgs, who is a DJ, a producer. He also has a booking agency and books AV, and he is a dad. And so he came to talk about some of those challenges of running a business when you are also a very full-time parent. Check it out.
To be like active artists here, you need to let all the other artists, agents, and all the companies you want to work with, you have to let them know I'm still here.
Right.
So going places, seeing these people in person, is giving them this that they can confirm that this person is still here, they're still willing to work, is still here and
available.
active.
Yeah.
Being present, like the physically present, is important here because there's you never know. But still, I think human factor is important. They're building some kind of trust. They're building some kind of. Also, we are making many deals and many performances are happening because we like someone. Because we are sharing similar vibe that we could discuss. Okay, that which direction we take this performance to, what we are bringing to the table, like as a person, the vibe, the character, the personality.
So Timo said what I didn't want to hear is that I have to go out. I have to leave the house and still make human connections. I like humans. I do. It's just, I'm so tired by the end of the day. But I think that Timo is right in saying that a lot of times you get booked or you book someone else because you like them. And so aside from their musical prowess or business prowess, you just need to make human connections with people, and those happen in person. So it wasn't what I wanted to hear. I was hoping he would say, yeah, you can just order it through Amazon. But I think he's right. I think that I do have to work harder about getting out there, shaking hands, and actually getting face to face with people to continue to grow my business. Thanks, Timo. Episode 5 of the Lady J podcast was with my fellow Canadian, Chris Santillán, who is a pianist, a musical director, and an educator in Sharjah. And what he had to say about his own performance has literally lived rent-free in my head for months.
Your favorite thing about your performance right now?
I think musicians were very good about talking about all the things that we don't like about what we do. So I'm trying to get people to talk about what they do like about what they do.
I think it's just about enjoying it
Okay.
more. So I think, there's always a stress involved with the preparation and everything. And I'm, as we all are, so hard on myself. I'm like, it's not perfect. I need more practice and everything. But it's just enjoying playing.
Okay.
So, obviously still do the work, still do the practicing. But just like, I'll give it maybe in my context, for example, next week we're going into rehearsals for our next production. So it's just like listening to the score and just enjoying it and enjoying the making the music, and not.
I was really moved to hear Chris give that as, let me start over. I was not expecting Chris to say that that's the part of his performance that he's working on. I thought it would be something technical. And to hear instead that it's something really about his vision and his approach to music was really moving. And it really knocked me back. And it's something that I have tried to take with me to every gig that I've done in the last few months, and to try to find a moment where I can really just, as a musician and as a lover of music, just appreciate what's going on. I think it's really easy to get caught up in worrying about how I'm delivering a song, thinking about the next song that has to come up, watching the time, watching people's reactions in the crowd. And that I think sometimes the actual just enjoyment of making music that you love gets lost. So I have tried to choose more songs that really excite me musically at this stage of where I am. I've also tried to step into a listening role albeit briefly while I'm on stage, but really listen to the other musicians that I'm working with. I've found there have been moments of really being able to appreciate someone's delivery of a song or really appreciate a solo, to hear all the notes. So I'm really, really grateful to Chris that he said that. And I'm holding on to that for going forward, not even just for this year, just forever. I'm holding on to it. So episode 6 features yours truly and Felix being interviewed by Aston. So to be honest, there were no surprises in what I said. I pretty much know what I think. But as I have listened back to our episode, I was surprised to be really moved by this part of the conversation. And ended up being super special because we realized as we were doing it that actually we played like all over the world already for more than a decade, but our families had not really seen us play ever. Because whenever we would go home during Ramadan, we're like, absolutely not. Like no gigs. I've just done like 250 gigs this year. I don't even want to talk for this month, So that was really cool to actually be like, oh, this is what we've been doing for 10 years, but you didn't know. So now we can kind of show you that just acoustically in the bedroom, whatever. And then also too, it kind of became this, this community that met each other, because they were our family and friends and they knew stories. So it would be like, oh, well, I've heard stories about that person in the UK. And now I see them online and it's like, hi, well, I'm like Felix's friend. Are you Felix's friend too? And then those people started talking to each other. So it was so like, I loved our comments section. They would, they would ask about each other and everything. It was.
So you had a chat. You had a chat, which the kids would call it now. You had a chat.
We did.
Chat. What's up?
It's like a little community.
It was.
That's awesome.
It's great. Yeah. It's not a huge following, but everybody's.
But it was dedicated.
There every week or every stream.
So when I listen to this part of the podcast, I can hear how much Felix and I really loved those online streams. And we've had conversations about it since. And we are just full of love for the community that we had online and for a lot of the moments that we were able to share with people. We were able to share our home and our family life with them as well. And it's made us realize how much we missed that. We thought that there wasn't really any purpose to continuing to do it because people are happier to see us in person, which is fantastic. We love being in the room with people making the music, but we miss being online with that community. So we're going to do it again. We're not going to do it twice a week like we used to during COVID, but we are going to be back online doing live streaming from time to time. So please check out our Facebook page and check our Instagram page because we're going to be posting details there as to where and when. And if you were part of the old gang, we hope to see you back online with us. And if you've never seen us perform live, come and check it out. It's really casual. It's fun. We make way more mistakes than we would ever make on stage, and we have a laugh about it. And we hope you will come and make requests and share your energy with us online. Episode 7 of the Lady J podcast was with Romario Fernando, who is a bass player and a sound man, and he owns actually his own AV company here in Dubai. And he is the only one of the guests in the first season who grew up in Dubai. So what he had to say about the local music scene back in the day absolutely blew my mind.
People used to be like, oh, gig happening at so-and-so ballroom in Dubai this weekend, and it would be like 500 kids packed shoulder to shoulder, and like it didn't matter.
Way.
It was nuts.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so like people used to bring in like their drum kits and speakers and whatever, and it was like a vocal PA, and like you just used to be in there, and it was.
So this is like it would be a venue, and you're underage at this point.
It's not even a venue. It was just like a
room.
It's a room pretty much.
Okay.
And then just like people used to come in and set up the things and then the kids would filter in and just be like, yeah, I'm having a great time.
Did you ever play there?
I didn't ever play. So I only started playing in a band around I want to say 2009, 2010.
Okay.
Yeah. I never had the confidence before that. So it was always like...
Well, playing for 500 people, like that's no small stakes either, right?
I know. And it was such a great vibe to grow up with because...
That's amazing.
It was people from everywhere. But then, you used to look forward to kind of hanging out the following week. It didn't just happen at these ballrooms. It used to happen in people's villas and like university grounds, and like it was madness.
So as someone who has only been in Dubai 11 years and who came here as an adult and also came here for gigs that were paid and have only ever been part of that structure, hearing about a time in Dubai where gigs were so much more organic, so much more grassroots is really inspiring. I can just imagine, all the kids getting together just purely for the love of music and on that energy. And I wish I could have been here to see that. And I'm hopeful that maybe there will be a time again where that kind of thing will be more popular. It would be great if that exists by the time my kids are teenagers and looking to go and rock out in a room somewhere with loud music that they love. I'm hopeful that that comes back around again. Episode 8 of the Lady J podcast with Carrie Gibson, my dear friend, another singer, another band leader. I've known Carrie for 16 years. We've had a lot of conversations, so it was hard to surprise me. She's one of the people that I really look up to, not only for what she does on stage, but how she works. And so I was not entirely surprised to hear her talk about how she deals with guest interactions, but there was one bit of this which really left an impression on me.
This is gold right here.
Yes.
Okay. One of the things you do is you thank them for whatever they're saying. If they're saying, even if they say things that I think are like weird and that's not a very nice thing to say, I still say thank you because people are moved in a certain way. And we did that as a group. We moved them. And if they say, oh, it's not my favorite rendition, almost as good as, I'm like, yeah. Thank you. But I still say thank you because humans are weird and they don't necessarily know how to act. But you know that if it was on the other way, you'd like to have someone just like hear you and say thank you. And then here's the trick. You ask them who they are and what their name is and repeat it back because, of course, that's about remembering who they are. If they're on the stage, lead them off.
Yes.
Get them off stage. Get them off stage. So don't knock anything over. Shake their hand and then kind of give their hands back to them and say, oh, that's great. Gold right there. Remember it.
Yes. Write it down. Write it down. Yeah. I love that Carrie walks us step by step through what exactly to say, how to move your hands, what to do. That is gold. Absolutely. Write it down. But when she said that people are weird and that even when they come up to you and they say something that seems unflattering, you need to recognize that they are trying to deliver a compliment and they are trying to connect with you and that they just want to be heard. And I really took that on board. It's hard to have somebody come up and deliver what feels like a criticism after you've just really been trying your best. And so I really try to bear in mind now that they are trying their best to be kind and they are excited and that we did that. We made them excited. We made them get out of their seat, walk up to the stage and say what was in their heart. And maybe it comes out a little garbled and maybe it's not exactly what they mean or maybe is exactly what they mean, but that I still need to validate them and show that I am open for their feedback and that I'm happy regardless that they are still in the room with me. Thanks, Carrie. Episode 9, our Christmas edition. We are back around to Mikey Reed, who considers himself Mr. Christmas, to talk about gigs during the holiday season. But the most surprising thing that Mikey said to me was actually not to do with gigs, was to do with family.
Again, it's always super important to make time for your family. Like for me, making time for my son, I have to be really rigid with the time I get with him every single day because at the end of the day, what's he going to remember when he's my age? Is he going to remember that Dad was there or Dad wasn't around Christmas. Like, he knows I'm busy. He knows I'm a musician. He gets it. He's lived it his entire life. But having that, I hope he knows that I make the effort to be with him every day.
Right.
Like, that's the most important part of my every day, is seeing him.
Right. December is a great time to make money if you're a gigging musician. There's more gigs going around. For Felix and I, it's no different. We work a lot in December and we try to earn as much money as possible because we know that slower months are coming. And we're doing that for our family, to set our family up for success. But when you're a kid, that's hard to understand. It's a little too abstract. So with what Mikey said about wanting his son to really have a good Christmas season, we took that on board as well. And sure, there were days where we just stayed home and had to pass the vacuum and scrub the toilet and, make spaghetti together. And sometimes that was what it was. But we also really tried to make school holiday magic and to make Christmas magic for our kids and give them those moments that hopefully they're going to remember for a lifetime. And that's it. That's a wrap on season 1 of the Lady J podcast. Thank you so much to my friends who came on and shared their time and their insights with us here. We hope that it was useful to you. We hope that it was entertaining, and we hope that you will stick around for season 2, where we will be continuing to talk about how to get great gigs and how to deliver on those gigs. We're having conversations with musicians and industry professionals, not just here in the UAE, but further afield from all over the world, and some solo episodes with just me. You can listen to the podcast on Spotify and Apple Podcasts, and you can watch on Substack and YouTube. All links are available on my website, ladyjmusic.com. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you in season 2. The Lady J podcast is hosted and produced by Janelle Thomas. It's filmed, recorded, and edited by Felix Frechette, who also wrote the theme song. Technical assistance provided by Theo Frechette. We hope that you enjoyed this episode. If you did, please leave us a review on Spotify or drop a comment on YouTube. For inquiries, please reach out to me, Lady J, at ladyjmusic.com.